Hello everybody and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Trying out a different format here. This time I just run the race as usual, keep my focus up, and then I commentate afterwards. Hopefully this style of video goes well for me. But getting ready to go, green flag here at Michigan in C Open 3K SOF. All the pros in the top 6. Green flag gets underway. I'm the number 71 Elliott Sadler Esports Machine. As we go down into turn 1, 2x2, 24 gets a little bit dirty air on my right rear, gets me a little bit loose, gives the outside run out of turn 2. But as the top 6 is pulled away a little bit, 17 takes a peek down to the bottom lane. He doesn't have a big enough run though, so we will not go 3 wide into turn 3. I'm trying to hang on from this 24 machine, but as this first run goes on, it'll get a little bit too loose. I'll fall back a little bit, but we managed to hang on. You see a little bit there behind. The 19 almost turns down in front of the blue and white Flames truck. But now I have all lanes to my discretion, so I run the line I wish. Too wide in front of me. Too wide for the lead. 2x2 up front. I'm just trying to hang on and see what they can do. 22 on the bottom. Now here in Michigan, fresh tires definitely prefer the bottom lane by miles. It absolutely prefers it, but when the later in the run, that mid to outside lane with the older tires can actually become the preferred line. But since we're all on fresh tires and the race just started, we're trying to get moving here on the bottom lane. The number 8 gets passed by the 24 as we're all now single file back to P6. Up except for the leaders as the number 22 gets down into turn 1. They're door banging. They're still door banging through turn 2. They finally get off each other through turn 2, out of 2. 24 is going to use that to try and get a run. He's going to bump the 98 going into turn 3. 98 gets a little bit squiggly, but it's going to work out well for the 98 as they are almost 3 wide through turn 3, but the 24 does not have a big enough run. 2x2 once again from first to fourth. Blue and white Kentucky truck looking to my inside. He's going to get it. Because right now, I'm in a tire saving mode. I'm in a point where I'm just trying to hang on, really. Trying to survive, because I know if this race goes green, having better tires at the end of the run will become very much preferred. As 22 is, now you can already tell that bottom lane's already starting to struggle a little bit. He's falling back a little bit to the 98 as the 24 is pushing. The number 8 was pushing the 24 also. 8 slides down in front of the Kentucky truck as they are still side by side for the lead. It's been a great battle though. A little bit too aggressive for my taste early run, as I don't know what my camera does there. But they're still fighting very well and honestly very respectable. The only real dirty move we saw was the door banging basically through the entirety of turn 1. But the 98 finally clears the 22 as he has all lanes to himself. The 24 is stuck on the outside because the 22 is still trying to hang on. 24 going to give the bump to the 98 as that's going to allow the both to pull away a little bit further from the 22. And now the 8 still trying to hang on that high lane as I'm just sitting back there in P6 just watching it go on behind me. As we are almost single file, Kentucky truck gets in there and we finally make it single file for everybody for the first time since the green flag. As this race tends to go on, I just try to maintain position, but also I try to hang on. Maintain and just hang on with the top 5. Sure, I can hang on to 6, but if I can hang on to the top 5, then I'll be able to, if this race goes green, capitalize on good pit stops as the 24 looking to the bottom of the 98. We are currently once again fighting for the lead. Now the 24 is the one stuck on the bottom. You'll see him drop back. And his tires are going to fall off massively too. I got the 19 to my inside into turn 1. The Joe Rogan truck, whatever you want to make of that. Going to the inside of turn 1 for me, but they're still side by side up here with the 24 and the number 8. Kentucky truck has nowhere to go. He pops the wall a little bit. That gives me a 4X back there. I still don't know what I'm doing with my camera. I just have to bump the blue truck to get him moving. He's very loose. I'm trying to split the middle, but then I hear Navarro there on the inside, so I did not want to make it 4 wide coming out of 4. So I concede the position to the blue and white truck and the 19 as number 42 is now on my inside. Sure, his truck may show the number 42, but in iRacing he was designated the number 1. So he has the highest IRA in the split. I think he was almost 2K higher than the number 2 truck, so he didn't qualify. 19 pops the wall. Honestly, I forgot that happened. 19 popped the wall and sent the 42 down low. He kept it straight. What a save by Navarro. And even though I had a chance to fight back with the number 42, I just gave it to him because I know he'll be pulling away. 19 almost cuts him off again. The single file now. 19 goes to the bottom. Navarro is trying to make the move done on the outside lane. As I'm trying to still, I mean, I'm under pressure this entire time. eNASCAR Racing, you really don't have a break, especially with this current truck model. As they go to a chase cam going down the back straight, you can see just the moves made there. I believe that's a 19 truck going low. Or no, that was the 24 going low. Then the 19 went high. As you just see, and then you also see Navarro looking loose, but that's intentional. We call that slip angle here in eNASCAR, where it looks like it's loose, but that allows the truck to rotate, honestly, really good. If you can get it right rear to poke out just a little bit, but not wrecking loose, it'll turn it around the corner, kind of like how the Cup Series used to match their toe back in the COT era. As 19 pops the wall, I have to give him a bump. Can't make that 3 wide, even though the 17 gave me the space, so respect to him for that. To go on the roll bar into turn 3, 19 goes wide. That allows me to get to his inside, and he doesn't have anywhere to go with the Kentucky truck now there. Currently 2 by 2, almost 3 wide, a little bit further ahead, but I'm side drafting this 19 to hell and back. I try to get a dive onto the inside. I know I can't slide job with the Kentucky truck there, so I have to get a decent run out. But I get loose as you see my truck wiggling. Like I said at the beginning of the video, my truck ends up getting very loose before our first pit stop. So I have to struggle with that all the way to this first caution here in a little bit, which should be coming up here soon. But the 19, you see there, he's still very loose. That is not a slip angle. That is overdriving your right rear tire as we're going to move to our first caution. Number 8 gets loose into turn 3. He basically drifted it. He can't save it, comes down, but then that 8 seems like he just doesn't turn when the Black Rifle truck seemed like he had it corrected. Unfortunately for him, that's some damage, but fortunately for me, that allows me to come into pit road, make an adjustment to tighten this truck up. Coming down pit road here, notice how there was about 8 trucks in front of me. About 8, I mean, give or take. I think it was more like 7, but I come in, I qualified P3, so I got the 3rd place box. 22 was the leader here. I get a great stop into my box. The 98, I know I'm going to get that spot. Because, I mean, the 98 is taking a long time to get into his box, but I get on my box really well. The 22 goes, that'll be the leader. But then I get out of my box really good, and I beat everybody out pit road. I end up jumping from 8th to 2nd in that pit scenario now with my truck tightened up and a fresh set of Goodyears. We are ready to roll here from P2, although, let me tell you, it does not last long because I absolutely suck at restarting P2 on the outside. As you'll see here in a minute, Wesley's going to get the massive jump, green flag back out, and now I'm not even side by side with the 22, I'm side by side with the 16 there on the bottom. But although the 16 doesn't have any help behind, I do, so I focus on trying to get a run out of turn 2. Coming down just a little, the 33 comes down a little bit, but then I get a bump here from the 33. It upsets me a little bit, but he sticks back behind. So I don't get the run I want to, but it's what the car would dealt with. And then I get bumped again into turn 3, sending me wide. And the 33, yeah, right there, you can see the truck rear end wiggle. The 33 gets low below the 16, and I concede that spot. But I also make that note, and then this, I did not think the 24 was putting it into that hole. So I did not think he was there. I didn't want to cut him off. But that was definitely a hole that was closing before the 24 got there, I believe. Still not entirely sure how that happened, but we're still green flag here, so really nothing wrong here. We going onto the rear chase cam into turn 3. You get to see the chaos. They're 3 wide back there. And sometime here, yes, you see the one truck, bam, into the wall. Looking here at the replay, the number 5, they go into turn 3, a little bit too hot. They wash up the track, and I think the 22 just overreacts, and that sends the 24 into the wall, practically ending his race. Which is really unfortunate, honestly, because that 24 had a lot of pace, especially for that first 13 laps. He was hanging on in the top 10. So unfortunate for him, but that doesn't affect us as we keep going now. We're in P4, which is still better than the P8 we were in earlier. Only 3 trucks in front with the Kentucky truck, looking to try and get a run out of turn 2. He's going to take a peek on the outside, but he doesn't get enough of a run before I close the door. A little bit tight there, but he wasn't there. I slid up in front of his nose, and that allows the 8 to barely get there on the quarter panel. 8's going to get onto the dive bomb to the Kentucky truck. Kentucky's looking outside. I think this is going to be 3 wide coming out of turn 4. Doucette was there for a little bit, but I think he's going to turn in behind me. He's going to pick the outside lane because that is currently the faster lane. The rubber set in after about 20 laps, not 25. And now the middle lane is probably more preferred. Bottom lane can still be optimal, but it really all depends here on how your truck is handling. If your truck can not get too loose on the bottom, then you're all good. We're going to jump ahead to the next caution, though, as it remains single file from then. 18 doesn't make some sort of mistake out of turn 4. The 98's there, and the 18 just probably doesn't recognize it. I mean, I don't know what exactly happened there. I mean, there was certainly a call for car inside, but then he almost saves it, but then gets an unsafe pit entry because he got there just before the green cone, which is unfortunate. But then mixed strategy calls here. Everybody comes in except the Kentucky truck. So all the lead lap trucks at least come in to do some sort of service. Granted, at this point in the race, you fill up the truck and you need probably about a half gallon. But we also ran, at this point, we ran almost, I think, 15 laps on these tires. So you'll see when I come into pit road, I get in the box really good again. But you'll see there is some different strategies. 22 takes off. I mean, so he took either right sides only or fuel only. I'm going to take 4 tires as I had to reset my offsets from the previous caution because it wasn't exactly what I want. So when you do anything with your spring offsets, you basically need to put new tires. But take a look at this. Even after filling up the truck all the way, I still have to turn off the engine and clutch in, which practically stops the motor entirely, therefore saving fuel. I actually managed to save about 5 laps, which allowed me to only need one more caution, or one more set of caution laps to fuel save enough to make it to the end as we go back green here behind the 12. The 42 Navarro back on the inside, but we're restarting a little bit further back in the pack. We're starting here in P8 because of the differing strategies. So you'll see the 00. At least I always assume that's a 00, but the Kentucky truck on the outside with his 15-lap old tires already struggling to maintain with the pack, showing that at least some of these trucks took right sides only. But the Kentucky truck trying to hang on with his old tires coming through 4 as Navarro barely clears my nose. It was still 3 wide in front last I checked, but we're now at this point we're trying to race but also save fuel because we can't clutch in at this track. You will absolutely lose the pack. But you have to drive enough conservatively to save your fuel as the Kentucky truck gets into the wall. That's going to allow 3 wide into turn 3 with the 22 and the 8. Coming into turn 3, I take a peek down to the bottom there of the 12, but that's not the focus right now. As the 5 truck walks up the track, gets into the right rear of the 0, and wham, into the wall. 5 comes back down into the pack. Big wreck behind. 20 slams to the inside wall. 5 comes down to the inside wall, and 2 trucks just all check up. 18 involved. 22, I mean, this was a mess. We're going to take a look at the replay here in a moment, but the 20 today is done as his. And what's really saddening is that this guy did everything right. The 20 here, he saw the wreck, he checked up, but then this guy, the 18, did not. Sends down to the other 20, it just slams that left front into the inside wall. There goes the motor. Absolute heartbreaker for the 20. I mean, he did everything right. It's just, it sucks when people can't look in front and notice there's a wreck and hit the brakes. So, anyways, after that caution, I now have enough fuel to make it to the end of the race if it went green. We have enough fuel to make it to the end as I was clutching in and turning off the motor the entire caution. So now we race a little bit more aggressively. Navarro to my outside, but then I believe coming out of turn 2, top 8 is already single file. Bredson trying to defend from the 17 in the back. 42 looking to the bottom of JJ McCoy. 42 is definitely have fresher tires, I believe. I think the 22 has taken some sort of different strategy the last time everybody pit. But coming out of turn 4, I don't have a big enough run to help Navarro, and neither does he to get to the bumper of the 22, as we are still single file coming into turn 1, excuse me. But luckily for me, I don't get any further below this position the entire race, because I managed to save enough, but also nothing too terribly here, although the race does get a little bit more chaotic here later on. 42 made a mistake in the previous corner, so I got a chance to get back around his outside. But I am now stuck behind the 22. I try to bump, but it doesn't really go. I can't bump enough. But Navarro lets up and gets in behind me. But the number 42, he builds his setups for a customer base, but he builds the customer sets, number 42, and then he builds his own that suits his driving style for clean air. I get to the inside of the 22, but you'll see here later that number 42, when he gets into the lead, he's just gone. But I get to the inside of the 22, not exactly clear just yet. I have to give it one more corner. He's got me by a quarter panel. See here on the front straight cam, you can just see he gets to back to my door by the time we enter turn 1. 42 keeps taking a peek on the inside, but him making a 3-wide move this early is probably not the safe bet, as I get a good enough run out of turn 2, barely get clear, and we slide in front of the 22. He's going to give me a small bump, I believe, going into turn 3, but after that pass, I don't have to worry about the 22 ever again, at least for this race, as I managed to stay in front of him. And the 2 in front of me are fighting Doucette in the 33 of Steelford, I believe. That's how you pronounce that. He's going, they're side by side, trying to fight for P3 going into turn 1. And you'll see here, I believe that's on the back straight this time around, but the number 22 must have just rewatched the Indy 500 before this race, because you'll hopefully see coming down the back straight, comes out of turn 2 and then jumps all the way down to the white line and comes all the way back up, and you see 3 trucks about to follow. Him and P2 made a little weaving motion. The 8 couldn't exactly follow because of the 33 on his outside. But number 22 is trying desperately to break the draft. As Michigan is certainly draft heavy, it requires a very aero-tuned package, but also enough handling that you're not just struggling in the corners. With how big this track is, you gotta build this almost like a more grippier version of a super speedway. Or if you have Auto Club sets, just use that. As the distance between of this track and Auto Club, you see the 9 doesn't follow Wesley, and it actually improves him a little bit. I barely get clear of the 8 going into turn 3. Navarro knows that, so he's sending it to the bottom, almost 3 wide. Not going to be enough though. As you see, it's a lot more chaos in the back now, as we've been fighting. The field is caught up. I'm all over the bumper of 33. I'm trying to think here, trying to make moves. 19 looking to the outside of the 22, as the 22 has been struggling a little bit. The Doucette tries to come up and take some air off my left side, which will make you loose. If you're the truck on the inside and you want to make a guaranteed pass, just slide up a little bit and get the dirty or take the air off the trucks on your outside left side. It will absolutely make you loose as they're 4 wide behind, as I did not notice that, almost 5 wide. The Black Rifle number 8 on the outside trying to make the move here. 3 wide going into turn 1. JJ's not going to give the room, and that'll cause this. Number 8 slides down in front of the 17. They both save it, but then the 17 can't slow down in time, gets in front of the 98, gives the 98 left front damage, and ultimately pretty much ends his race because a draft track. Now, the 98 doesn't lose a lap, but it's a long while till the next caution, so he loses a lot of time and a lot of spots of that left front damage. 17 and the number 8 practically got out of that unscathed, and he was the one that caught, or at least was the initial one that was turned. Don't know if he was reason for the wreck in the first place, but that gives me plenty of space to focus on the 3 wide in front, as JJ McCoy is probably about 2 seconds back from me now. So right now I'm in a save mode. Now that I know that there's no pressure behind, I'm in a tire save mode to try, if this race went green, to try and help my speed a little bit. I want to highlight this though. Number 5 knows he's way off pace, so he just pulls the right move. Instead of trying to hold the lane, he goes slow enough and gets onto the apron. Lets the leaders by. We passed him one more time later on in this race, but big respect for that move, as he knew this was no longer his fight, as they're now 3 wide for the lead. Welcome to eNASCAR Racing, where you can't get a dang break. 3 wide for the lead. Wesley Parker on that outside trying to get the big run, but you see Navarro now has that clean air. Already just clears the both of them, as he had clean air on the bottom end, and he just gone. 2 done in 1 corner set, and he's already pulling away. As granted, with help because they're fighting for P2 and almost P3 if the number 33 can do something about it. But the 9 slides up behind the 22, and then the 22 goes low to try and make a block. He's still clear. He can come back up if he needs to. But now, I don't think I lose any more spots here, as it's mostly single file. Although, I do gain a spot here later. Now, this is saddening to me. This is the Black Rifle 8. He pops the wall, lets the Hunt and the Black Cat truck by, but then he just parks it. He doesn't wait till pit road to then, he parks it on the bottom, and ultimately that brings out a caution. That brings out a caution with just under 15 to go. All the lead lap trucks pit this time, because now you short fuel, you put fresh tires on it, and you crank up that left rear offset. As now you have such a less amount of fuel, you gotta crank up the offset to make sure the ride height matches of what it was since the start of the race. 4 trucks were in front of me. Slide through my box just a little bit. You take 4 tires. Brenson there, I don't have to worry about him. But Wesley Parker, he's already dropped his right side. We gonna get going here. He beats me out, but then the 9 just barely gets me out too. But that allows me to jump from P6 to P3. It allows me in front of Doucette, the number 8, who I was fighting for most of that run, but I just couldn't do anything. But now with fresh tires and a P3 start, I go when the leader goes, and I nail it with Navarro perfectly. I almost get ahead of the 9 before the line. I'm at least way side by side. But unfortunately, this P3 does not last long, as I did not put in enough right rear offset to tighten it up enough. Because you put in, the more left rear offset you put in, the looser it gets. So if you want, you put in right rear to balance that out. It still fixes your ride heights, but it doesn't make your truck stoop loose. Unfortunately, I didn't put in enough right rear, so I was a little bit too free for this run. But I try my best to hang on, and also, everybody around me, except for the number 8, is probably about 1,000 I rating higher. So no matter how this race goes, I cannot be mad, as I am hanging on with some of the best of the best here on eNASCAR. Regardless of what you think, these guys are good at what they do. So, hanging on with these guys where I probably have 5 years less experience than them, is really refreshing for me. As Navarro, he tries to break the draft a little bit less than the 22. 22 tries to break the draft from the 33, which helps me a little bit, but not enough to make a move on the 33. Going through turn 3, I'm just, now it's push mode. You're not saving tires, you're not saving fuel. You're just balls to the wall till the end of it, really. But not all the way, as you also don't want to overdrive your right front and just become slow and just not fast at all throughout the run. We get a little bit of a run there out of turn 2 to try and make a move on the 33, but I don't think it's enough. I have to give him a bump through the back straight, as it wasn't enough of a run to have a decent chance at making the move done into turn 3. Going through 4 with probably around 10 to go, as top 5 single file. They're fighting behind for 6, but JJ McCoy clears the gate, as now it's single file for pretty much the rest of the race here on the top 5. Navarro already pulling almost a second gap between him and the 9. As you can basically tell by the back straight cam, we are single file for almost back to 10th, to be honest. Yeah, now it is a sense of trying to hang on with these guys and not lose too much time to P6 behind. We're going to jump ahead probably about 5 laps here, where the 9, he makes a mistake going into turn 1. Navarro, as you can see, he's already pulled a second gap to P2. Wesley looking to the outside, doesn't have the run. There's still single file going into turn 1. But when they get there, 9 runs to mid lane. They all kind of do, but they all kind of keep their left front poking below each other. 9 puts too much gas out of turn 2. Gets a little free. 22 with a great run off turn 2. And the 33 follows, or at least he's trying to follow the 22. 9 gives it to the 33, and this gives me a chance, but as you see, I'm too far back. I can't really make the move done on the 9 to try and gain any spots. I stick P5, which is still, again, really respectable. With everybody in front of me, if they tried, could be pro drivers. Going into turn 1, though, now I'm just in a drive mode. Don't lose too much time to P6 behind. You can barely see him at the top of the screen. Trying to hang on to my P5. Navarro, you can see there's 2 seconds there already. And he's by himself at a draft track, which is honestly either impressive or suspicious, whatever you want to think about it. Now, a driver I want to highlight here. This is a 16 of Rachel Hunt, who, please correct me if I'm wrong if you see this, but has some sort of mental problem, or has some sort of issue, sorry, that has a loss in motor function. I don't know if it's Parkinson's or something like that, but she races really good here with the disease that sometimes gives her a loss in motor function, and this is a pass for P7. She's in the top 10 here, and she's trying to fight this 19 going into turn 1. Gets enough of a run, gets to the quarter panel of the 19. 19 a little bit slow off turn 2. There by a door, but the 19's pulling. She's not side drafting, which is allowing the 19 to utilize his run out of the corners. But this fight lasts for about, this fight lasts for about, I want to say 6 laps, up to the end of the race. But you'll see, as this fight slowly goes on, they'll keep being side by side, but they still catch the 22. They're going to catch me and the 22, and they're fighting side by side, which is really impressive. As is still side by side coming out of turn 2. Again, not side drafting, which is allowing this 19 to use the runs he gets out of these corners. Finally starts to side draft a little bit going into 3, but not enough to really hold back the charge that the 19 made out of turn 2. But you'll see they're slowly catching up to the number 22 here, I believe, at 3 to go. Still trying to fight for P7, but they also have both of them have a chance to make a pass for P6. See that gap slowly closing here, ever so slightly. Rachel, these two is still fighting. This thing's been going on for about 4 laps. Rachel has a little bit more of a gap now. She's been hanging on pretty well. But again, no side drafting, which is just allowing that 19 to pull away every time, and not Rachel's unable to complete the move. But coming out of turn 4, I believe, for the white flag. Nope, that's one more lap later. I believe 2 to go. But now they are single file. 19 has the clear advantage now, but they are all on the bumper of the 22. You see me there at the bottom of the screen for a second, so they've caught up generally to the top 5. I mean, JJ's slowly been catching up to me, but the 19 now seeing an opportunity for a new pass, goes down to the bottom into turn 3. 19 trying to make the slide job work, but the 22 not giving him enough space to make that happen. Normangan through turn 4. That allows Rachel to catch up and at least decide where she wants to go. She looks in the middle. JJ closes the door. So now she'll bump JJ because there's no lane for her to choose. 19 stuck on the bottom. 22 goes up against the entire wall through 1 and 2. Coming through 2 side by side again with the 19, but now Rachel learning from her fight earlier with the 19. Finally gets it done on the outside. Now she's focusing ahead on JJ McCoy coming through turn 3 for I believe the second to last lap. Looking to the outside, not going to be enough though for this attempt, as we are coming to the white flag here. I maintain my position this entire time. P5 as you see the white flag being raised, but the fight behind is not over just yet. Rachel looks to the bottom, trying to make a slide job work, but not going to. JJ holds it well in the middle lane. But he doesn't get the best run off turn 2. Rachel with a big run out of turn 2. Gives JJ a bump into turn 3. Makes him faster than he wants to be into the corner. JJ goes high. Rachel gives it a send down at the bottom. JJ slides up a little too much. He gets free. And Rachel gets the move done for P6 on the white flag. We still finish P5. As very respectable race for myself and Rachel, as we both managed to hang on with some of the pros. And granted I lost a bit of time, but we managed to hang on well. P5 only lost about like 0.05 safety last I saw. I scrolled down too quick, but you see Rachel there. 3,000 I rating, finishing P6. And as you can see here, Collins 5K, 4K, 6173. We gained 37 I rating, 4 cautions. Great race by all these guys, very respectable. Very good racing all around. Next week is Iowa for the trucks. Hopefully we'll be able to see you then. Until then, good night.